In times of great disruption, the conventional ways of thinking about strategy don't really work. We need some new way, some new tool. In my experience, scenarios is one such tool that can be useful. In this video, I will talk a little bit about scenarios and illustrate it with one very contemporary example. See, scenarios are not worst case, best case, middle of the road kind of thing. They're actually alternative realities. Any of them could actually happen. If we think through these alternative realities, we'll be better prepared for when the scenario actually happens. Step 0, the first step in creating scenarios, is to figure out what will not change. No matter what happens in the world, there are a few things that are given. For instance, I would say that today global warming is a given. So all scenarios have to include that as being part of the background. It's not something that you can wish away. Step 1 consists of identifying two forces that are shaping the world. But the two forces should not be congruent. They should not be the same as each other. They have to be independent of each other. If we do that, we'll get two independent forces and you can create a matrix, a 2x2 matrix. A 2x2 matrix gives you 4 scenarios. 4 is a reasonable number. I mean, you can do 8 and 16 and so on, but they become unwieldy. So I always favor creating 4. That's good enough. Now, we have to identify the two forces. What are the two forces that are really shaping the world today? I would say that there are two that are very clearly the leaders, so to speak. Number one is what I would call the MAGAification of the world, by which I mean the fact that the President Trump is showing the world that it is possible to think of the old rules-based order as being dead. That really whoever is powerful can do anything they want. WTO, UN, World Bank, all these institutions that held up the world are gone and basically they're irrelevant. If that happens, then you really have a situation where countries can do whatever they want to, provided they have the physical capability. The second force is AI. AI, again, there's no point asking if AI is real. It is real, we know, it is here. The only question is whether AI can be a force for good or a force for evil. These are the 4 possibilities. That MAGAification will happen or it will not happen, and AI will be a force for good and AI will be a force for evil. These are the 4 possibilities. So let's take the first one, MAGAification. What are the extreme values? This is step 2, identifying the extreme values. The extreme values for that force, one possibility is that the world will step back from the brink and realize that this every nation for itself is a very dangerous thing, and we will go back to a rule of order where you have rules of behavior and global rules that prevail, just like WTO, UN and so on used to have, and we could go back to that system. At the other extreme, of course, you have the law of the jungle, every nation for itself, do whatever you want to, provided you can. When it comes to AI, the two possibilities, again, the two extreme values. One is AI could become beneficial, it could become human-centric, it could open up opportunities for everybody and new ways of living that we cannot even imagine, and everything would be wonderful. The other extreme possibility is the one that everybody is fearing so much today, the possibility that AI will destroy jobs, turn the world into a wasteland, and even run the world on its own, create its own reality, so to speak. So take these two forces and create 4 scenarios. The upper right quadrant, quadrant 1, we'll go counterclockwise, is one where AI is working and MAGAification is also happening. The world is fragmented, but each of these fragments, AI is effective and doing its role and doing a beneficial role. Quadrant 2, the next one, as we go counterclockwise, that AI is beneficial and we have a rules-based order. Quadrant 3, AI is destructive and there is a rules-based order. The world is unified in a way, but AI is destructive everywhere. Quadrant 4 is where AI is destructive and the world is fragmented into small areas of influence. These are the 4 options. Now what we can do is explore each quadrant, think through what each quadrant really means, paint it in vivid colors so that we can really feel it. One of the first things that I would suggest is to give each quadrant a nice evocative name by which you can easily remember what it is. For instance, quadrant 1 could be called Islands of Prosperity. The second quadrant, quadrant 2, could be called Paradise Regained. Quadrant 3 could be called Big Brother, because what would happen in quadrant 3 is governments would be forced to take care of its people, but at the same time there could be mass migrations. Quadrant 4 is really where everybody is fighting with each other, and because what happens is when you have a large population that is unemployed, one of the things that governments would do is they would deploy excess manpower in order to invade their neighbors, especially when there is no rules. United Nations and so on have been suspended. These are in fact the 4 scenarios. Now what we need to do is we need to think through in each scenario what would actually happen. Tell stories about what would happen, paint it vividly, and sit back and think about, okay, if this happens, what will I do? That is the power of scenario thinking, is that you can think about all these is really happening, then figure out what you will do. This is a way to deal with disruption.